One of the customs of the Brazilian people is while engaging in a conversation, it is not uncommon to be interrupted and is not considered rude or inappropriate. Another common custom that characterizes Brazil is that a close friendship is shown by rubbing the two index fingers together. One of Brazil's best known traditions is Carnaval. This is a famous traditional Brazilian festival that happens before Lent begins. The cities of Rio de Janeiro and Salvador have huge parades and celebrations. The performers and locals spend months in preparation for the big event. The pre-festival celebrations are known as blocos. Enormous balls take place throughout the city's nicer parts of town. The Copacabana Palace Ball is the most famous of these events. From the street, spectators can observe the Samba School Parade from Sunday night through Monday morning. Another Brazilian tradition is the New Year celebration in Rio. To start the day off, many local restaurants serve special buffet lunches. At nighttime, people gather from all over to watch the night fireworks. People that follow the Afro-Brazilian religion called candomblé wear all-white garb, light candles, and get small boats loaded with trinkets into the ocean, an offering to the sea goddess Iemanjá. The cave paintings found in Serra de Capivara National Park are one of the oldest traditional art forms of Brazil. These paintings can be dated all the way back to 13,000 BC. These paintings show how sophisticated pictures of people, animals, patterns, and other everyday life was. Football is a very traditional game in Brazil. Brazilians have a huge passion for football, and even in the smallest towns you can find a massive stadium. Football is played with your feet, and the goal is to kick a ball into the goal of your opponent. There are 11 players on the field, and the team with the most goals at the end of a 90-minute match wins. Recently, Brazil hosted the 2014 World Cup, which helped the country come together as one, and they placed fourth. The Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo is a huge event for the Brazilian people. The first motor racing in Brazil can be traced back to the year 108. Millions of people tune in to watch the racers race around the track in Sao Paulo each year. The Parintins Folklore Festival is held in the state of Amazonas and is the second largest annual festival in the country. It is held over 3 days during June and celebrates a legend about an ox that was resuscitated. Two teams compete in telling long versions of the tale. They can use both song and dance to tell the story, and each show can be as long as 3. As with any country in the world, Brazil is a melting pot of different religions. The major religions within Brazil consist of Catholicism, Protestant, and Methodist, and smaller religions like Judaism and Buddhism are celebrated. One of the Brazil staples is Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro that depicts Jesus Christ spreading his arms across the entire city, symbolizing Catholicism in Brazil.
Olá, eu sou Rafael Camargo e começa agora o primeiro episódio do Easy Portuguese Brasil.
As you can tell from that recent audio tape, the official language of Brazil is Portuguese, which is spoken within families, churches, and sporting events throughout Brazil. Brazil's economy is the largest in South America, and the country boasts well-developed agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and service sectors. They use the currency of the Brazil real, which is equivalent to 33 cents U.S. currency. Like many nations of the world, Brazil operates a mixed economy that includes characteristics of market-based capitalism. Iron ore, crude oil, soybeans, sugar, and poultry top are Brazil's main exports. Brazil's presidential system is set up so that the president who is elected by popular vote for a 4-year term and may serve up to only 2 terms is both head of state and head of government. There's a legislature consisting of an upper federal senate and a lower chamber of deputies. The 81 senators are elected for 8 years and the 513 deputies are elected for 4 years. Administratively, the country is divided into 26 states and one federal district called Brasília. Each state has its own governor and legislature. The main political parties are the Brazilian Democratic Movement Party, the Liberal Front Party, the Democratic Labor Party, the Brazilian Social Democracy Party, and the Workers' Party. Socially, family is the foundation of the social structure and forms the basis of the stability for most people. Families tend to be large, and the extended family is quite close. Despite the mixing of ethnicities, there's a class system in Brazil. In general, people with darker brown skin are economically and socially disadvantaged. The middle and upper class often have a brief interaction with the lower class. usually maids, drivers, etc. Class is determined by economic status and skin color. There's a great disparity in wage differentials, and although women make up 40% of the Brazilian workforce, they are typically found in lower paid jobs such as teaching, administrative support, and nursing. Brazil children have access to free public educations at all levels. However, wealthier cities or states have better schools than their poorer counterparts, and the children suffer because of their lack of adequate amenities and resources. This in turn means that poorer children receive a lower level of education. Many children do not attend school because of malnutrition, and this makes them unable to develop intellectually and to adjust to the social environment of a school. Because of this, riots broke out during the last summer's last World Cup because the Brazilian government spent its money on brand new stadiums when its people felt like education for lower class citizens should have been addressed with that money. The richest 10% of the people in Brazil have access to over 40% of the country's income. On the other hand, the poorest 10% receive about 1% of the income. The stark contrast between the rich and the poor is made even clearer by the fact that these people live alongside one another. The slums in the metropolitan, known as favelas, are common, while the remote areas upcountry are also clearly financially strained. Although all major cities and countries in the world experience some form of crime, Brazil is particularly susceptible to this major social issue. The most common forms of crime in this country include mugging, robbing, kidnapping, and gang violence. In addition to the crime within the community, there is also a problem with the law enforcement divisions, with corruption and violence being inflicted by the police themselves, which discourages the community to report incidents of violence as they have little fear or respect for the police.